Hi, I'm Sigung. Welcome to my channel where I show my personal martial art of Bagua Kuntao Silat. As I've said before in the essay on my website, www.popsigung.com, that you really don't understand how to defend against a knife until you've learned how to also use a knife. The most popular way that you're going to be attacked by a knife is with the grab and stab. I mean, they're going to grab you with one hand and just pump it in from the bottom and stab you repeatedly until you bleed out. Statistics show that 2/3 to 3/4 of knife attacks are just that way. And as you can see, the most commonly used implement, butcher knife, readily available, cheap, large blade, you can dispose of it without crying. And that's typically what you're going to see, not those tactical folders that a lot of operators use. Now, it goes without saying, if you can run, run. If that goes for any fight, you shouldn't be fighting. This is not a duel. This is self-defense. So if you can't run, or if you try to run, you're going to get stabbed anyway, and you're better off defending yourself, that's what this is about. Typically, like I said, in the grab and stab, he's going to come up, grab you, and have the knife, and be pumping. He's going to hide it before you can see it, and you're just going to know. And you don't know the guy. You're in an argument with somebody else. You're distracting. The guy comes up and you don't know about it. However, you need to defend against that. It's not easy, but it's certainly doable. And your job is to debilitate the person and get away as quickly as you can. Fighting the guy you don't want to do. The more you stand there and fight, the more you're likely to get cut or killed. So, and you may get cut anyway, but you can at least escape. So, in the grab and stab type of approach, there's two ways. The first one I showed you where he comes and he's stabbing like that, he's hiding up here, you don't see the hand, and in that kind of an excited state you don't notice he grabs and stabs you. But the other one, and more dangerous in my opinion, is when he comes up and grabs you close and you don't see it to the very end, and he gets closer before you see it and stabs you, and it's very difficult because you're already in a grappling type situation where he's close, you don't see it, just pumping it in like that. First awareness, of course, don't let people get that close, especially if you don't know them or you can't see their hands, even if you do know them in many instances. But sometimes you don't have that option, or it was a bad day, or you weren't paying attention and you have to do something. So today I'm going to show 3 variations of the common grab and stab, of empty hand self-defense against that typical technique, and 1 empty hand self-defense against the more uncommon and more dangerous close grab and pump. And you can see here, I hesitated to avoid trying to injure him, but also he's in that position. Sit down, please. You can also just quickly step on it here and injure that way. That said, he was coming quickly, I was coming quickly, and it's not like the movies where everything is perfect. But when I show you what essentially was got the basics is, that grab comes and immediately I want to stop his control over me. And you see it's this torquing palm entry, and I want to evade that, but I also want to create some sort of barrier. But in Bagua Kuntao Silat, we don't strictly have blocks. And this wasn't that. What it was a deflection, and you couldn't see because the camera angle was blocking it. But I'll show you this way. Is he had me stab coming, I hit here, but this was also a rib strike while I was stepping forward and pinning the arm in, moving my body out of the way of the path. So not only did I hollow out my body, but I struck him as I was controlling this and he was grabbing me, moving forward. Then this was a strike and a head wrap, and I was behind him as I dropped him here. And you can see I hesitated because I had so many options what to do. I just went ahead and did that. Could have stepped on him, could have done all sorts of things. But that's one variation, and I'll show you again slowly so you can see it. He's coming forward. I create a barrier, but it's also a strike where I'm breaking this down. Even if he maintains that depth grip, because he's going to be hyped even better, I can control him. I've struck in here, then I immediately shoot a strike out this way as I pinned his body to his arm. After striking him, if I have the time, knee strike to his thigh, and then stepping behind him to drop him that way after I've wrapped his head and neck and struck him. Yeah, and you can see he stabbed me. He's letting me know I didn't maintain control of that arm, and he's in a comfortable position. So you have to always be blade aware. But you notice the big thing, get away from the path, immediately evade the line of striking, pin his arm, control his arm in some manner, control his body in the center. Immediately when he grabbed me, I was controlling his center and structure and breaking him down, striking into the rib cage, pinning his knife arm to his body, then striking here. And he couldn't worry about the knife because he was worried about himself. And I would, in real life, break his neck and this way. That's one variation. And again, if you can see it on this side, the grab and stab, he comes, moves this way. Strike, he's pinned, I've struck him here, back and worried about falling, and yeah. That's one empty hand defense against the grab and stab. But what if you don't have that coordination, you haven't practiced in my system, you don't have control of your center, you don't know to immediately gain control of his center and balance and break his structure. Got you in that particular instance, he grabs me and you can see avoid that path, but I break and he let go because I hit him in the nerve and he made him release. But he's holding on, he lets go. Now normally your clothes are going to get ripped up, but that's okay, you're not going to get stabbed. And what that does is it breaks down that structure as I step forward and then strike here and here, grabbing the eye, head, everything, coming behind him, same position, and I'm taking control of his body and his neck. If he's struggling, and I just turn him over, down, and even more, take control. If I don't do it right, he will stab me, and it will be hard. You can see, if I don't do a technique right, he will punch me or kick me, and he will keep doing it until I get it right. And that's the whole point. That's what you want in a training partner, especially when you're training empty-handed against knife. That's about as high as stakes as you can get it, and you're in a very inferior position. So you have to know, and this whole system is with that idea in mind, that the other person has a weapon I can't see, and he's thinking about using me. Even if I know it's empty-handed, I always assume he has access to a weapon that I can't see. So that's why I have particular tactics and techniques that I use that look kind of odd, or somebody might second guess, but there's a reason for it. Another way to do that particular one, and as I mentioned again, that particular grab and pump, he grabs, and immediately I break down his structure while I'm stepping to the outside, and you can see here, this one I wrapped around, got control of his head. Yeah, he's trying to stab, but I'm controlling his structure again, and dropping him using my weight, dropping him down and breaking it up, twisting his neck. You can imagine, you think, clear path, if I don't get control of that arm. I am controlling that arm by controlling the opposite side of his body. The skeleton has to move a certain way, especially when it's under tension. And when he's trying to stab me, or he's in the motion of stabbing me, he's under tension. So that said, when he's grabbing, pulling me close to stab me, I step off and use my whole body to do it. Strike, and drop. And then you can see here that I'm controlling everything all the time. That was defense number 2. Your eye okay? And I can say, if you can see it or you can hear it, I got him in the eye, which you normally do it as a handhold to turn his neck and bring it. I would also fish hook his face, his lips, his mouth, and stick my thumb in his ear while I'm moving it down. Typical dragon technique that you would use in green dragon swimming, my intermediate form, as I'm taking him down. And I'm leaving the distance a little more open than normal so that you can see what it would look like on the video camera. Otherwise, you just see a lot of movement and you really wouldn't understand everything going down. Hence my lengthy explanations to you. Lastly, and the easiest one of all 3, especially if you haven't trained in my system, done all the backgrounds for proper movement, is he's grabbing, and you can do this quite easily, just like you would see in my uncoiling punches while I'm doing the torquing palm, and with the appropriate footwork, He's grabbing me. I don't want him to grab me. I see that glint of a knife. Otherwise, why would he do it? And you can't see it normally. When that comes, immediately I'm going to slap and control that, slap the side of his head, pin him, and the knife got caught in my shirt as I was doing it. Because you could see he was down. Now that one, we don't get as close, so we don't have as much obvious control, and I'll show you from the other way. And I can't do that at full speed, because if I were to slap him as with an uncoiling strike, yeah, it would ring his bell, especially open hand when you're doing it. And it's that torquing palm as I'm moving in. And also notice this torquing palm is the one that's going to pin this knife. So when he grabs me, it's torquing palm as I'm stepping forward, if I choose to do so, and then controlling the head and neck as he goes down is a variation of what I just showed you, and he's twisted up. But what I showed you before was an easier one. Depends on how he follows, where the weight goes. He goes to grab and stab. And yeah, you felt that one, didn't you? Sorry. And he's coming down, that torquing palm, head wrapping, turning, dropping. And again, similar position, so I can show you. I want to work on this one pin, takedown, neck, arm position, so you can learn that. You all right?
Yeah.
I got you.
Yeah, I'm not here.
Okay, I'm sorry. And that was as light as I could make it. So, because he came in and I said, okay. And I try not to. I try to hit the upper part, but I got the back part and the upper part. That said, I'll show you what it looked like. That particular movement, he grabs, boom, and he's over. And then I did the, yeah. Again, that variation, torquing palm, hit, step, and then head wrap, burn. That is the third variation on the grab and stab, the most popular or most common way that you're going to be attacked with a knife against empty hand. Thank you, Trevor. Sorry you got a little dinged up here, but thank you for coming and bringing it, which is what made me react. Even though I was holding back, you can't help it. These techniques are designed to generate great pain for the person quick, so it makes their mind rattle and change about what they think they're going to do to you, and now they're protecting themselves instead of thinking about stabbing you, and you can gain control of them more quickly. Probably the most dangerous way you're going to be attacked by the knife is a variation of the grab and stab, which I'll call the grab and pump, which means they're going to come and not grab you on the shirt. They're going to have enough wherewithal to get closer, keep the knife hidden behind them until the last minute so you don't have a chance to defend. And they're going to move forward and grab you, probably your neck. They're going to grab you and just immediately start pumping. In that instance, like you always, immediately try to avoid the line of attack as quickly as you can and gain control of that arm, pinning it to you or them while using your footwork and your center to break their structure and take control of their center so you can gain control of them and that weapon. That's the entire point of this. And Bagua Kuntao Silat, that's the entire point of every move we do. So when you see that grabbing, the first thing that's going to happen, headbutt, and then I'm going to see this. I see it's hidden, but I'm not going to try to fight. I don't want to wrestle with the guy. But immediately when I see that, I've headbutted him because he pulled me in. I'm going to go with that headbutting, and then immediately from there, it's going to be a cutting palm to the floating rib as I pass and go with his energy, allow it to pass, and I move forward. Then strike, you see me stepping past the point, strike his head and drop him with, I didn't even have to beset him because I was twisting his skeleton. Immediately headbutt, strike, control, allow that energy to pass. I don't want to fight him. Then I go, allow it to have both hands, you can see, and I'm still pinning, maintaining control, just like in bridge hands where we stick to control that energy as it passes through. Then immediately strike while I continue to pin him, head wrap, bring him down. Yeah, and you can see he's worried about this. Yeah, and the whole time he was resisting, and he could not because I controlled him all the time. Okay? All right. And again, the variations are going to depend upon how he brings his energy, how he presents his structure, and what he's going to do. And most people are going to say, if you move into that knife and headbutt him, you're going to get cut. Well, I'm going to tell you, you're probably going to get cut anyway, but I'm seeking to control that knife and get closer past that point and control it. And he's going to be coming. So immediately, if somebody I don't know come up to grab me and move like that, I'm going with him, join my energy on him, and I'm looking for that other arm that I don't know about and immediately gain control of it. I don't have to guess there's a knife there. I know he's got something for me, even if it's just an uppercut to the rib cage. I know he's got something for me. Now, for the grab and pump, as I've said before, you're going to be committed, but that's any time you do knife entry. So when he comes, yeah, pretty quick toward us. All right. Thank you for watching. Please go to my website, www.popsigung.com. Join, you can become a free member, join my forum, read it, write to me, like and subscribe, and look forward to my other two videos on the second and third most common way you have knife attacks and how Bagua Kuntao Silat defends against them. And thanks again, brother.